Good evening and welcome to Washington Week. So I made a promise to myself not to use the term continuing resolution on this show until absolutely necessary. It's kind of like the Ambien of congressional legislation. But we're looking at the prospect of another government shutdown and renewed questions about Speaker Mike Johnson's ability to keep his caucus in line. We'll talk about this tonight, and we'll also talk about yet another tumultuous week in the presidential race, including the fallout for one unfortunate Ohio town after Trump and J.D. Vance, his running mate, spread false claims that immigrants there were eating pets. Also, we'll discuss the term Black Nazi, believe it or not. Joining me tonight at the table, Leanne Caldwell, anchor of Washington Post Live and co-author of the Post's Early Brief. Caitlin Dickerson, my colleague at The Atlantic and winner of the Pulitzer Prize for her coverage of immigration. Zolan Cano-Youngs, a White House correspondent for The New York Times. And McKay Coppins, an Atlantic staff writer and author of Romney, A Reckoning. Welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here. Leanne, you're up. You're one of the 8 people I know who knows what a continuing resolution even is.
Yeah,
just give us the latest on the threat of a government shutdown.
So the government is poised to run out of money a week from Monday. We are once again, year after year, up against the deadline. So what happened this past week is Speaker Mike Johnson, he put forward a bill, a conservative bill that would fund the government just for 6 months, alongside a very potent political issue for Republicans. And that is a bill that would require proof of citizenship to register to vote. This is something that Donald Trump has talked about. This was an ask from him. So he put this bill forward knowing it was going to fail. He did not have the support of enough Republicans in his party for a multitude of reasons. It failed, as expected. Now Speaker Johnson is coming back saying to other leaders of Congress, look, I tried, blaming members of his party. They weren't able to go along with it. And so now there are negotiations happening. There's expected to be a bipartisan supported bill that perhaps comes out as early as this weekend. No one wants the government to shut down. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell this week said that Republicans will get blamed if the government shuts down, and that's the overwhelming thought on Capitol Hill. But the reality is...
His analysis is correct. Republicans will get blamed.
And Republicans know that they're going to get blamed. Speaker Johnson made this move. And one thing I want to say about that is Speaker Johnson put forward this plan that was not popular even with Republicans. They thought it was a gimmick, a ploy. There's a multitude of reasons. But he did it because he got a lot of pressure from the ultra-conservative portion of his conference, the Freedom Caucus. And he did it because he has his own concerns in mind. He wants to remain Speaker of the House or leader of the Republican Party, so he's continuously trying to appease that group, even though he's wasted 2 weeks with this idea that was going absolutely nowhere.
So, Zolan, is his speakership under threat? I mean, he's done a pretty good job. Partially thanks to Hakeem Jeffries, the Democratic leader, coming to the rescue a few months ago. But is his speakership under threat again?
Yeah, I mean, even if they pass, a 3-month clean bill and they avoid a government shutdown, his political headaches aren't going away. At that point, you then need to answer also to somebody else who may want a government shutdown if they don't pass these immigration restrictions that he's looking for, and that being the former president. You have to basically face the pressure from the former president, and this is not the first time that he has tried to basically use Congress, pull the strings in Congress in order to benefit himself when it comes to the presidential election. And if Mike Johnson is able to, do something that Democrats and Republicans want here, which is to avoid a government shutdown, he will still face that pressure from somebody who still holds a grip over his party.
I'm assuming that Leader Jeffries doesn't come to the rescue this time. There's no particular reason, right? There's nothing of existential importance, like the Ukraine bill, for instance.
Right. There's not as much leverage, really, at this point, for Mike Johnson or something like Ukraine that would cause Democrats to immediately come to the table for something beyond politics at that point.
So we'll be talking about this next week.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Yeah, we have next Friday, so hopefully.
Great. Great, because this is what I want to say, continuing resolution over and over again. Yeah.